He Said, She Said podcast, a relationship podcast. I am Sarah.
I am Luke.
And we are married with kids. We like to sit down and talk about family relationships, adult things, not so adult things, you know, the usual
stuff.
Just to sit down, connect, talk to each other, maybe help a listener or two. That's Luke having a snack. We're having a Sunday
breakfast is the
breakfast edition. It's Sunday morning, about 11:30. It's nap time. I was just trying to tell our listeners before I was rudely interrupted by a rapper. If you have a
rapper,
you gonna do a rap now? While you're chewing, don't chew into the mic. No one wants to hear that.
Give me a second while I break my fast. Be patient, little lady. It won't last.
Oh, my gosh. That was bad. Okay.
Yep.
So if you have a question for us or just feedback in general, you can find us on most social media outlets. Instagram, we are He Said, She Said PC. Facebook, He Said, She Said podcast. You can email us at He Said, She Said PC. He Said, She Said, P. at gmail.com. So, yeah, you can find us on Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes. Give us a rate and a like and a review if you're feeling extra nice. And we usually try and throw it up on YouTube as well. So check us out. The cat's on the printer. Luke is looking for.
Do we have the monitor?
We don't have the baby monitor, but she's fine.
Oh, God. Just piece
He's going to go get the baby monitor. I'm going to lead us in I am going to do exactly that. I'm going to give them a quick outline. So this week, we are going to talk about just what we've been up to. We've been super busy as usual. I feel like in Ohio, in most Midwestern states where you have seasons, everyone crams everything into the summer months. So there's no time for hardly anything. We've been super jam-packed. Our town does a street fair. That was yesterday. So we had that going on. I did a yard sale trying to get rid of all this baby crap. Anyone who's local who needs baby gear, like we still have a jumper. We have I'm trying to think, a little play mat, a gently used boppy pillow with a new cover, freshly washed, a bumbo seat with tray, all kinds of gear. I'm going to be throwing it up on Facebook soon to try and get rid of it. So if you have a friend or if you're in need, please check me out. Yeah. Besides that, I'm just telling them what we've been up to. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we have a fun little list of things they, quote unquote, say you shouldn't ever do in life, but you're never going to stop doing them. Things people do that they're like, oh, that's bad for you. You really shouldn't do that. But you're just like, there's no way I'm going to stop doing this. So we have a fun little segment on that a little bit later. But first, how was your week, honey? As you slurp your coffee drink over there.
My week was long. 6-day work week.
Right. You had that work thing last Sunday.
And
very sad and stupid that they don't let you guys take a day off or a couple hours off to
2
trade
hockey
off.
games. One was good, one was bad. And my back feels better.
Good. You did finally seek medical attention.
Yeah.
Did he poke around on you at all?
Yeah, he did. And he had me do some stretches and things just to see if I was bending funny. And I would like to take this moment just to get slightly political.
Okay.
One of the biggest arguments against universal health care is, oh, you guys have to wait. If you universal health care, you got to wait weeks to see the doctor, blah, blah, blah. 3 weeks I waited. 3 weeks before I could get an appointment. And by then, my back was feeling better.
Well, that, but also, you put it off forever because our system is so broken. Right. You're like, oh, it costs money. Such a pain. Because it is.
Yeah. So I'm just like...
And you waited 3 weeks.
And I was like, I'm actually feeling pretty good today, but I thought, might as well just tell you about it, get it, like, marked in the system or whatever. And I was like, it's so stupid. 3 weeks to get a doctor's appointment.
It's absurd.
But I also went back to my old doctor because we switched doctors to a new one when we moved here. And she was the worst. Terrible bedside manner. Yeah. Didn't really listen to you when you talked. No kidding, get down. And
it was a family practice that we stupidly took our newborn to, thinking it would be good. But the seasoned doctor at this practice was actually leaving like a month later, and she was the one that wanted more babies. She was the one with the baby experience, so she left shortly after we started going there.
She was no good. She actually would go to appointments and feel worse.
Yeah, it really did not help my anxiety levels as a new mom. But we found a great pediatrician that we take both girls to now, and she is fabulous. I love her. She can never leave. Actually,
she's Spanish, which is adorable.
Yeah, she has the best accent, and Sydney just adores her, and that's the important part to me. Like, they have to be good with
Nevi really
kid.
likes her too. So
good. I haven't taken Nevi in to see her, so I wouldn't know. Okay, so it has to be how my week was, honey. Will you quit? That's really obnoxious.
How was your week, dear?
My week was up and down, but the biggest highlight of it was I got to see Wonder Woman.
By herself?
Well, with my friend Jessica, remember?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to go out.
Yeah, I got to have a quick night out. We went on a Friday night, not Memorial Day weekend, but the one after. So it was still technically really new. I forgot about Friday night movies at 6:30, how many people would be there, but it couldn't ruin it because that movie was amazing. It was so great. I can't even really explain it. It was just I can't believe I'm watching this. So if you haven't seen Wonder Woman, even if you're not real into comic book movies.
What's it about? Some woman? And she's always got questions?
No. Well, she does, actually. She asks a lot of questions.
I wonder.
Why is humanity so awful? Over and over again, pretty much. But why? Why can't we just help them? Anyway, everyone needs to go see it. I want to go see it again. I want to try and organize my local girls, I can't talk, to go see it. It's just, again, finding the time because summer is the busiest time of all in Ohio. It was amazing. Go see it. Even if you aren't into comic book movies, ladies, it is so awesome to go and see these fight scenes that are just women completely kicking ass. It was amazing. So, she is the amazing Wonder Woman, so it makes sense. Luke's on his phone.
It was one of those things where I got to do it while I'm thinking about it.
Well, then pause.
I can't. The mouse is plugged in. We're charging the mouse because we ran it down to 1%. I ran it down to 1%. I don't think we've charged that thing in months.
It's been a while, and Nevi's on it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to touch on was I actually just got back from the park with Sydney. It was a lovely morning out. It was already pretty warm, so I decided we'd head out early to the park because our little fireball, she's got a lot of energy.
Boy, she does.
And I think we have to start getting her outside more as much as we can because it helps. She napped. She went down for her nap super easy today because I think we burned off some of that energy. So we took a walk, and there's a park, and I would like to wait until my husband's not on the phone anymore because he hasn't heard this part. Yeah, but you're not actively listening. You're typing something. Okay. Thank you. So we went to the park. And we've been to this park has been there for a long time. When we used to live in town before.
Is it the one by the bike path?
Yes. Okay. It's near the tennis courts and the skate park in town.
I used to take Josie there because they had rubber paths.
Right.
And she wanted to learn how to skateboard.
Right.
So we would go there because I was a little friggin' Mr. Safety.
Right. So we went to this park, and it's so great. I took pictures to show you. It's got a bigger play structure now, but also still a small toddler one, and it's all mulched, and it's relatively new. There's 2 baby swings. Mm-hmm. She loved it. Mostly she walked around and picked up sticks at first, like she does, and mulch, but it was cute to watch her play.
Loves to pick up sticks.
But we went down the little slide together a couple times, and she really liked that. And then she saw the big slide, and I'm like, "Whew, okay, we'll go down the big slide." I very carefully followed her up the stairs to the slide. It was really fast. It scared me.
Did you ride with her?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She doesn't really
Sorry for the cough noise. Okay. I just forgot the microphone was in front of
me. She doesn't really get the whole thing where you have to put your feet up on a slide yet because her shoes get stuck. So, but then she wanted to do the little one by herself because I was like, we can't do the big one again. It was fast, and it was a little damp. So, it made it even faster. My computer keeps going to sleep because I'm using my... Yeah. So she really enjoyed herself. But also what happened at the park was there was another mom and dad and a little almost 2-year-old that showed up.
Strangers.
They were very nice. But it leads in. This is the second time this has happened to me recently. On Mother's Day, we went to the park by the elementary school. And there was a mom and a 2-year-old there. And like we have a really great conversation. It's really awesome to like relate on like developmental things. Today, this little girl, I think they said was 22 months. So she's just 2 months older than Sydney. I mentioned because we were in the swing when they got there. And then their little girl wanted to swing as well. She was very shy and adorable though. She was like, they're like, she's probably just going to stare at you guys for a while.
That's what Sydney does most of the time.
Oh, she was smiling and waving at them. Oh. She was turned on. But so they're swinging and Sydney's swinging. And I said something along the lines of, she'll probably really show off for you guys when I go to get her out of the swing and just lose her mind. And they're like, oh, we understand completely. We're going through the same things. She's like, they said, I mentioned how Sydney's going through this thing right now where she doesn't want us to pick her up out of her crib. Like she'll stand up.
She'll play a little game with you.
It's not even a game anymore. This morning, she just got mad and started to tantrum when I tried to pick her up, even though I let her sit in there for a while. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but I mentioned that to them. And they're like, we're not dealing with that. They're like, but man, feeding time, meals.
Yeah.
That it's just a mess. And
it's just being a toddler. Sydney's, I was so spoiled with my first child that they did everything like they would eat well. And
you also have rose-colored glasses though. And you guys, not that you didn't parent her a lot, but you guys had a lot of help. Like
we did. No, but I'm saying
grandparents
like, there was never the food on the floor. And
right.
I'm done with this. I'm going to throw it at the wall. Like we didn't have that.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, people would talk about how weird it was that she ate so like,
yeah,
the way I could take it like so daintily.
Which is funny because as she got older, it like reversed.
I know.
She was really messy as like a younger kid and then even an older kid for a while.
But then you got Sydney, who's just like a little bulldozer
and that's the norm.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for parents of young children to connect with other parents of young children, because you start to feel like, oh my God, this kid is awful. Everyone else's kids are probably so much better.
We don't say awful. We say you're being difficult.
But it's like you start to feel like, oh, why is she so bad? What am I doing wrong? What did I do to make her act like this? But then you see other parents and they're like, oh no, I totally get it. We're right there with you.
Oh yeah.
So the sad part is we learned the little girl's name and they learned ours. I didn't ask the parents what their names were. The mom works in town at the drugstore and the dad works on base. They live outside of town.
You know I need something from the drugstore, right?
Do you?
Yes.
Good.
So you can go down and get it and be like,
yeah.
By the way.
Well, because I was like, I really like this park. I mentioned that I hadn't been to it before. I'm like, I think we're going to start trying to come here more often.
I like to picture that you were like, you know, in The Simpsons when somebody's shy and they have their hands behind their back and they like twiddle one of their feet.
It wasn't like that.
And they're like,
it's hard.
I'm going to come to this park.
It's
again
really
soon.
hard.
I mean,
stop it.
You can come too if you want.
I was like, we might come next Sunday. I was like, but next Sunday's Father's Day, I think. So I don't know for sure. Maybe Dad will come too. But they were very nice.
I'll come if I damn well please. My day.
It's such a nice little park.
We
don't stay that. You haven't been there. It's new. You've been to the location.
I'm sure it hasn't changed in the last 10 years.
I just explained how it changed.
I know. I know that was the joke.
But yeah, if you guys have funny stories of meeting other parents and feeling awkward but happy at the same time, I mean, it's kind of, okay, there's more to this. The mom went to the same OBGYN that I go to. She sees the exact same, like, doctor.
You guys are, what's it? From the league. What?
But we're
Eskimo sisters.
You know what's funny is I mentioned Doucette delivered. She's like, we were supposed to have him. We really liked him. They ended up with Dr. Little.
Was Little the one we were supposed to have?
Yes, but he was someone else the same time that Sydney was born, I think.
Our guy was fine. That delivery was so like...
Yeah.
That's one of the things,
was great.
Not to derail so much, but like, we were so spoiled with that delivery. Like it was so like...
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there were like no complications.
No, I was very lucky.
I know
with my pregnancy.
There was the weird
from start
thing
to
with
finish.
I think the thing they stick in your back.
Oh, the epidural.
I think that took a little longer. Than
well, she had to stick me twice, and I have a existing back pain from the first stick where she messed up. And you know why she messed up? Because it wasn't even the actual anesthesiologist. It was his like student.
However, we got charged.
And you get charged for both. You get charged for the anesthesiologist who's overseeing the student one.
Yep.
So that's fun. And she messed it up.
They should really clear that with you first. Anyway.
You know, they should.
But our delivery was so just like on schedule.
It was.
By the book. I mean, she was born on her due date. But like, besides that, like on schedule, the doctor came in and was just like absolutely professional. And
he was
like,
very great.
Not that there's doctors that aren't professional. I mean,
right.
99% of the doctors are going to be pretty by the book. But like, there was nothing to worry about. Bedside manner was wonderful.
Our doctor who delivered Sydney, she was one of 10,000 babies that man has delivered.
Yeah, you think about that? Like,
it's insane.
To him, he's probably like, oh, another one. Trying to sleep.
It was late.
Do you ever think about that, too? It was in the middle. It was what,
1:33.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was there a little bit before, so like it was like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, he was probably like in the on-call room trying to sleep, and then we come and ruin it. So the guy delivering our baby like 10 minutes ago was probably just like, oh, God.
So tired. He was very quiet.
Yeah, because he was tired as shit. Sydney likes waking people up at 1:30 in the morning. When she makes her little noises, and then you're like, I can't be mad, little baby.
So yeah, tell us your stories if you'd like about meeting parents of children near the same age as yours. We've had great luck so far, which makes sense because we live in a really great town. So of course we're going to meet like-minded people. But if you have horror stories or funny stories, please share. It's fun to share. Sharing is caring and giving is living.
I would like to jump in here.
Okay.
And thank my dear wife for letting me sleep in today. I have not been sleeping well for the past recent memory. And although I didn't sleep like steadily,
right.
It was nice to like wake up after not sleeping well and go being like, okay, I can try to go back to sleep.
That's an excellent segue for when you're done. So you let me know when you're done.
Okay. But I did talk to the doctor a little bit about like things that are keeping me awake and things like that. And we have a next step.
Yeah.
But it's like, more doctors. But yeah, it was nice to be able to go back to sleep. I had a weird dream, but I can't remember what it was. If it pops back, I remember it was one of the ones you wake up and you're like, oh, weird. But it was nice to just like roll over and go back to sleep. But my lower back, it's probably because my belly's like pressing down on me.
I think our new bed isn't as great as we thought it was initially.
I think
that's my opinion.
My belly's just too big and it pushes down on my, if you think about it, like my gut pushes down on my back. Because everything else in me sleeps great, except if I stay in the same position a while, my lower back hurts.
Yeah.
And number one cause for lower back pain is being overweight. And I am not the picture of health, though I have lost 10 pounds.
Good job.
Since I strained my back.
You're being very diligent, too, with your calories.
Can you imagine where I'd be at if I had time to go to the gym?
I know.
Like, I've gone once in the past 2 weeks. You go like 4 times a week.
That's not the gym.
You burn more calories than I do,
yeah,
probably.
but it's not cardio. It's cardio in spurts.
Tone.
It's hard to explain. I need to move more, like consistent, like cardio.
Well, you
exercise.
Walked uptown. And
I did. We walked to the park today. It was hot.
Our town has a big festival twice a year.
I mentioned that it was yesterday.
We walked up. Me and my dad and my middle daughter walked uptown to get. To take a look at the crafts and stuff, and for me to silently curse the people who don't understand crowd etiquette. Can I do a quick segment on that? On large crowd etiquette?
Hang on, this week on Old Man Holtzberry.
Right. Okay. Big crowd, like lots of people. And so picture like your typical small town. In the middle of the road is 2 rows of booths of people selling trinkets and clothes and stuff like that. And then on either side, like the sidewalk and part of the street, that is where people walk. And there's
shops along that.
Thousands of people.
I mean, it's like 12,000 people that come here.
And at any given moment, I would say there's 10,000 people flooding the streets.
Sorry. I'm getting over a cold.
Well, maybe 5. There's a shitload of people.
It's like 10 to 12, the estimates I've read.
At any given time?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway.
Especially at like the peak that you guys are down there. Like
it's much like driving. There are certain etiquettes in crowds. And like as soon as we got down there, obviously the people who smoke in crowds drive me friggin' bonkers. And there's that. There's the people that like stop are the ones that I just want to punch them in the back of the head.
And they don't like move to what they're looking at. They stop in the middle.
Old ladies we were behind and there was no way to get around, which I will get to. It's much like driving. You have to wait your turn to make your move. But every time we would try to like pass these old ladies, some brood of like trash would come up behind us in their Crocs and like block us. And
let's not.
But these old ladies kept like every booth they'd like stop and look, but they wouldn't move, and they were walking like 2 abreast, so you couldn't get around them. And I was just like, oh my god. And then my dad goes, I don't think we're going to buy anything here, so let's just go like all the way to the side. And we walked like, because there's a path for people who like aren't really trying to look at anything, and we just kind of like zoomed around and went and got a beer.
Yeah, the key to the street fair in our town is if you really don't like crowds, you can still enjoy it. It starts at 9 a.m. Get here at 9 a.m. Yeah. Whenever I go, and Sydney likes it.
And they do have beer. Get a beer.
I mean, some of the booths are still setting up, but a lot of them know that like there's people who like to be there right when it starts, like me. And it's nice to see the people. It's nothing that, I don't know. It's all the same stuff every year, in my opinion.
Yeah. Every now and then they have something cool. Like we got Josie the marionettes that one year. That was super cool. There's the year we got baskets that I swear had a roach in it.
That's real cool.
No, that's not cool. I'm just saying, like, buyer beware on buying things from street people. No, but anyway, just some quick etiquette. If you're going to stop in a crowd and look at something, you have to move to the side. Do not walk against the grain. We definitely had an entire family trying to walk back through the path of people.
That drives me nuts.
And they even stopped, and I looked at them and went like this, and they were like, yeah, we probably should have moved to the side. And I'm like, hey,
it's
idiot,
not too late.
Follow your gut. And if you're trying to pass people, zipper system, just like cars. You go, I go. You go, I go. Because when you butt in, and we had an 11-year-old child with us, an almost 11-year-old child. It's like a month away. It's a couple weeks away.
Yeah. It's
anyway,
we need to plan a birthday party.
And these people would like barge right in between us, and like you separated me from my child. Like that shit drives me bonkers. It's just that thing of like most people just don't care about other people.
Another plus to going up early though and having a stroller, as it does get more crowded, people will part like the freaking Red Sea for a stroller, a big old, because they have to. They have to. Like it's got a kid in it. First off, secondly,
you put spikes on it like friggin' Mad Max.
I mean, our jogging stroller is hefty. Like they'll move, and if they don't, I go, "Excuse me," like really loud. But yeah, so that's what's been going on with us. And a quick little segment on meeting other parents when you're awkward and bad at making friends as an adult. So hopefully none of our local parents listen and are feeling awkward now that I just talked about them on the podcast. I didn't say their names. I don't know their names. I know their child's name. Didn't ask their names because that's me. But maybe we'll see them again next week. Check us out. Maybe you'll hear more about them. So the next thing we want to talk about, since
this is where you asked me to segue from sleeping in.
Right. Luke was talking about how he was so happy he got to sleep in. And I know he likes to do that. It's important to him occasionally. So, but I was thinking about this the other day as I did my thing that falls on this list. Things that they say you should not do or never do, but you're never going to stop doing. Q-tips in your ears. New research shows blah, 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 blah.
Did you say that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I talked about it when you went to get the monitor.
Oh, okay.
He forgot he was missing for a moment. So My big thing is Q-tips, and I thought of this topic as I was literally standing there cleaning out my ears. I have allergies, and they flare up spring and fall pretty bad, so my ears get real itchy, and cleaning out my ears after a shower is like the best thing ever. I will never give it up. I don't care what anyone says. It's happening. Where are you going?
I'm just standing up a little.
Oh, he's rubbing his bum.
The chair is not posture.
It's not. You could do your kneely thing if you want. So that was how we got started on this topic, what made me think of it. So I went to the good old Facebook and asked around. I said, tell me something that you do that they say is horrible for you, but you're going to keep doing because you do what you want. And I got hit with a long, long list of things. But before I jump into the sourced things, what are yours? I can tell you Luke's, but let's let him talk about them first.
I wrote down 4 things.
Okay.
2 of which you informed me of. The first 2 are kind of the same. Every night before I go to sleep, I'm on either my phone or my iPad. And I'm usually watching TV to fall asleep.
At the same time.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, you shouldn't do that, blah, blah. You wonder why you can't fall asleep.
Research. Well, I mean, there's scientifically backed research on this one.
However, I'd like to remind everyone that there's like 7 billion people in the world.
True story.
And everybody's different. I literally cannot go to sleep in silence. I can sit there and you tell me the scientific by the book way to make yourself tired and go to sleep. Doesn't work. I sit there
Devil's advocate. We don't sleep in complete silence. We also have a fan on.
You're missing the point.
No, but that's not complete silence when there's white noise.
Not having the TV on or like trying to not stimulate your mind when you're trying to sleep. That doesn't work on me. I need to look at like mindless things and it kind of tires me out. And like I'll fall asleep holding my iPad.
Oh, I know. I've had to put it away for you before.
And I'm usually like on Reddit or something, just looking at funny pictures. Or I like to read trivia about movies, stuff like that. But I know scientifically it's a bad habit, but it works for me. So go fuck yourself.
Well, that's the whole point of this segment. So that's okay. Yeah. Yes. Screw them. So a couple other ones that people talked about that I also...
I have more if you want to hear them.
No, yes. I'm sorry. I forgot.
I know you're supposed to rest when you're injured. I'm very stubborn with injuries. I strained my back, as I said earlier.
A lot of people do that, though.
I strained my back about a month ago, and I did a little reading, and it said if it's a muscle thing, exercise and activity can actually help.
Right.
But if it's a bulged disc, then you should probably rest. But I was like, I read so many symptomatic things, and I was like, okay, I don't have that. I think I'm good. And so, like, I didn't take any hockey games off. Well, there was one I didn't play because you were in Boston. Oh, what? God. I still went to the gym and tried to work it out. Didn't swim, though, which probably would have been smart to get in the hot tub a little. But even when I, like, tweak my knee or something, and, like, at my hockey game Thursday, I tweaked my groin. Deflecting a goal in, by the way. But, like, lifting my leg tweaked my groin, which I'm just like, good old mid-30s. But I still played the rest of the game and, like, made it worse. But I feel fine now. It was just a little tight for a couple of days. But, yeah, things where you injure yourself and you should probably just, like, cut it out and go rest.
Or if you have, like, a cold, but it's not, like, full-blown, like, horrible sickness.
Yeah, even that.
I work out sometimes
like,
because it makes me feel better. Things. Almost. Like today I'm getting over a cold that Sydney and I shared for half of a week. But I felt the best I've felt in 4 days today. So we still went for our walk this morning.
My last one is man, you sleep in once every 7 years, and
that's on my list, but I'm going to talk about that one next.
Eating late or having a midnight snack.
That's on here. Yes.
I am so bad at that. And like, it's one of those things I perfectly acknowledge. Like, all I'm doing is giving myself calories that I don't need for a very short spurt of happiness.
Well,
but sometimes I don't care.
Sometimes too with the kids and the little ones.
You don't get time to enjoy your food. I'm a person that enjoys eating. Like,
well, you should.
Well, like, I don't want to just like eat and move on. Like, it's like a whole ceremony. Like, if we're watching a movie or something, like, I'll wait till everybody's sitting down, wait till we get the movie nice and going, and then I'll start eating, because I don't want to have to pause it and be interrupted. And
the whole pause is to go get another beer.
That's different. If we had a fridge in the living room.
Okay.
And then the midnight snacks, like sometimes you're just sitting there and you can't sleep and you're like, a bowl of cereal would totally help.
That happened to me Friday to Saturday. I woke up at 2 a.m. I went to bed early Friday because I wasn't feeling well. And I woke up at like 2. I laid there till 3 and was like, eventually, like, I'm like, I guess I'll go to the couch. And then I was laying on the couch. I was like, I am freaking hungry. We had a light dinner on Friday, so that could have been why.
Was that the salad day?
That was Subway.
Oh, this Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But,
and we hardly ever eat cereal. So cereal's for the kids now. And
I let Sydney have a few honey grams. It has the same amount. Yeah, it has the same amount of sugar.
The kid needs calories. So
and they have the same amount of sugar as honey or those apple cinnamon Cheerios we give her, which are super stale when you get new ones.
We have to get her graham crackers.
Oh yeah, they make graham cracker goldfish now.
I mean, like actual graham crackers, so that I can have some. Some of my favorite midnight snacks are cereal. Sometimes I'll have a banana.
Crackers with jelly.
Let me tell the story.
We have a really long list. So
I know.
Try to wrap it up.
I'll have saltines, and then I'll do a spoonful of jelly and a spoonful of peanut butter, and I'll just dip my saltines. And I fucking love graham crackers.
He really does.
And for a brief history on graham crackers, because Sarah's like, I don't know why you like those so much.
I've heard this story
true. Sarah's
27 times.
Hey, as if I may quote Stan Lee, every issue of a comic book is someone's first issue. So maybe somebody hasn't heard the origin of graham crackers.
Okay.
Graham crackers were invented by, I believe, a Quaker who wanted to invent a snack that was so like benign, like it was a good snack or a sweet, but that wouldn't excite people.
So not a sweet, but not too sweet.
Yeah. And he wanted it to be like something that, like, literally based on sexual excitement. Something that wouldn't, like, get people going, like, this is so good. Just like they take a bite and be like, that's okay.
And that's what graham
I'm
crackers
serious.
are.
Look it up. Look up the origin of graham crackers. It's true.
Did we ever feed this cat today?
I didn't.
I didn't either. No wonder she's yelling at us. I'll go feed the cat. You finish the origin of graham crackers.
I just finished. I'll go feed the cat.
Okay.
You can tell her story. But look that up. Origin of graham crackers. They were to make people not have lustful thoughts.
I like the cinnamon ones. The normal ones are boring to me.
Exactly.
That's the point, apparently.
You don't have any.
They can't hear you. Stop talking. So, moving on. A couple other things I will hit on that I gathered that people do, that I do, that I didn't know were technically things, quote unquote, they say are bad. Wearing flat flip-flops. That was one I wasn't aware. I mean, I guess they're not like good for your feet because they're so flat. But I never really thought of it as like I'm going to show them. But yeah, I do wear flat flip-flops. I will say in my older age, I found a brand that I really like called Reef, and they have a little bit of arch support, so I wear those a lot. What else is on here that I do? Now, the sleeping in on weekends, which rings true to home for today, I'll touch on that one because it messes with you. And I wish Luke was back because he actually probably has things to say about this since he loves sleeping in on weekends. They say you're not supposed to mess with your sleep schedule. So Monday through Friday, you have to get up and go to work. Are you eating more food? Well, I was going to make you a sandwich, but you said, I'm just going to have a shake. And now he's proceeding to sit here and eat.
We were talking about it.
On a podcast. No one wants to hear that. Don't do it. Look, you can see it.
No, listen. Barely eating Sprite.
Whatever. So they're just going to hear you talk with your mouth full instead.
I'm leaning away.
Excuse me, I sniffled.
You want some?
No.
Too bad you're talking.
I don't want them because I'm not going to sit here and chew at the listeners. Anyway, I was talking about sleeping in, how they say it's bad for your sleep because it messes with you.
Those people are jealous.
Okay, so here's my take on the sleeping in thing. Right now, it's like a very rare occurrence that I get to sleep in because children. I also am just an early riser by nature. However...
You've always got something you want to do, too.
Well, it's partially because I never leave the house during the week because of work. So I have lots of things I would like to get out of the house and do on the weekends. But if I may finish, I do miss not having to get up and go right away. Like, because when I wake up early before Sydney was here, as you throw cereal everywhere, as I would wake up, he's like leaning away from the microphone and it's really funny and I'm taking his picture.
I'm in a robe.
I don't care. You're not, no one can see you. No one can see your...
Make sure you get the mic in the picture.
I am. I miss being able to just wake up and like hang out for a little bit, like lay in bed. You know,
I didn't know you left this morning.
I didn't tell you. I didn't want to disturb you.
Well,
After your very bad reaction to reminding you about the yard sale on Friday, I was like, I'll let him sleep on Sunday.
so looking forward to sleeping in. I didn't know.
You did know. You just forgot.
I knew you were having a yard sale.
Stop it. So yeah, sleeping in on the weekends. You guys keep rocking that though. If that works for you, so be it. You're going to be tired during the week anyway because we're in our 30s and that's part of life. So if you want to lay around in your bed for a couple hours.
Nevi's just starting to do that.
Yeah.
And I think she's starting to realize the enjoyment
It's
of
nice.
It's summertime in the weekend, just hang out in bed.
Right. It's so nice. I mean, it's kind of forced upon her because our house is small and we're like, just stay downstairs if no one's up yet. Because it's noisy.
We're not saying stay, get out there. It's like,
No.
you have stuff to do down there.
Right.
Up here.
If you're really hungry, come grab a snack. You can take it down in your room. Just bring the trash up when you're done. But yeah, rock your weekend sleeping. Or if you have a day off, do it then too. So a couple other ones that I'm sure are popular with our listeners. Cursing, which I don't really care. I've never been I try not to do it around Sydney because...
I try not to do it in front of the fucking baby.
It still happens occasionally. She's been known to say, she goes, shht, shht.
Oh, she'll go, chit.
But you just don't acknowledge it.
You giggle a little bit, then you talk about it later.
Right. You tell other
She
people
says
about
bitch
it.
all the time, but I don't think
it's what she's saying.
She's not trying to say bitch, but I don't know what she's trying to say, but she'll point at something and go, bitch.
She goes, bish.
Or she'll go, bish. And it reminds me of New Girl, Winnie the Bish.
Yes. Tattoos, someone threw in there. And I'm like, I feel like tattoos are a lot less taboo than they used to be.
Go out of our state.
That's true.
When I visited Alabama to visit my brother, nobody had tattoos.
Huh.
Which I thought was very weird.
Yeah, but he runs with all the academia.
Everyone asked about them.
Huh.
One of the ladies he introduced me to is like, oh, nice to meet you. I really like that tattoo.
Oh.
And another guy was just like, man, you've got a lot of tattoos. And I don't compared to a lot of people we know.
Right. Well,
we've got a lot of friends who have just full sleeves and it's just
more than people they know. My brother's covered.
Yeah.
From head
And
to
it's just
toe.
we're just used to it, I guess. I don't know. It's just really trendy in this area.
Side note on that, walking through town, typically when we go through walks through town, we say hi to everyone we pass.
Yeah.
On a normal weekend, there's a lot of out of towners in town. Mm-hmm. Not as friendly.
Yeah. They don't belong here.
I was like, oh, because I smiled at them and none of them smiled back. And I was like, huh.
It's not uncommon here that your regular run of the mill mom of 4 who takes him to soccer practice and works at the bank, chances are she's hiding a half sleeve with flowers or something.
There was people who stopped by the yard sale yesterday with a little girl our age, and she had facial piercings and tattoos. They were super cool.
When I went to the South, there was none of that.
Huh.
So maybe that's where that's coming from. It's it might not be taboo up here, but it was so
places.
I spent time looking no, none there, none there, none there.
That's weird. Huh.
There's Jack riding by on his unicycle.
Our neighborhood.
I'm not even going to explain it. Don't even explain it.
It's our neighborhood unicyclist. That's no big deal.
It's one of Nevi's friends.
Let's hit a couple of these other things.
Okay.
Listening to music too loudly. specifically in the car. I do this a lot.
I only listen loud when I'm trying to sing along.
No.
When I'm just listening, I usually have it down.
No.
Just wait till you officially hit mid-30s. Then
sidebar. This is when I'm by myself in the car.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Like, there's no children in the backseat, like, crying because I'm killing their eardrums. Like, it's always me by myself. I really enjoy that. I don't know if it's from the years of going to concerts or the years of driving around in my cabrio with the top down with the music blaring. Because I did that a lot back then, too. What else? I mean, there's a lot of food ones that people brought up, which may I add, I'm pretty sure everyone who replied was a lady, which I saw a trend that it was mostly eating, bad habits with eating and bad habits with self-care. Wonder what that says about our society and the pressure it puts on women about what they eat and how they look. Interesting. Just my little side note.
Women are more active on social media and more women follow our podcast.
It wasn't on podcast. It was on my Facebook page.
Oh. Either way, let's not read too much into that.
It's my sociological standpoint on things. It's just a fact. Anyway, there was lots of food ones. Artificial sweetener, eating raw cookie dough, carbs in general were called out. What else? Soda. That's a big one. I mean, I think the stance we personally take on these things, moderation when you can. Control yourself. Do it like once a week.
I rarely have soda these days, but man, there's some days where I'm just like me and Debbie went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm getting a giant Coke Zero. Getting, like, I know it's technically 0 calories, but I am fully aware I'm putting a whole bunch of chemicals. Artificial sweeteners in my body that my body's probably going, I don't know what to do with this.
We'll just store it.
But like...
Sometimes you just have, yesterday when I ran to get us dinner, I had a soda on the way back. My throat was super dry and I forgot to bring water.
If you go to a place that has Mexi-Coke, but like cold, because it's always in the aisle warm. But if someplace has Mexi-Coke cold that you can just like pop open as soon as you get out.
Right. Oh. So.
They should have that on tap somewhere.
They should.
I would go to a bar and drink them like beers.
Beers are on my list here. Beers, many of them.
Here. I've been trying not to drink during the week. I lasted 3 days. It's like, and it's not like I'm getting drunk every night, but like there's nights where I'm like, I just want to have a beer after dinner where we're like watching TV and kind of chilling out after the kids go to bed. And it's just like a relaxing thing. I think it's the ritual of it too. Yeah,
you have a lot of attachment to stuff like that. You just do. Like, it's part of who you are. Honestly, that goes with the snack and everything. It's just that little ritual of being a little naughty after the kids go to bed. So this is the last one that I wanted to bring up, because I don't know if this is technically bad for you. I think it might be a myth. Cracking your knuckles. Is that really bad for your... Like, I feel like that was a myth. Because I do it. I didn't know it was still bad for you. Luke's going to ask Google. Because I wasn't sure. I meant to ask you to look it up before. Oh, my phone's muted. Oh, you're trying to get the noise and everything? Yeah. Here, hang on. Because I do that too. Because, I don't know, I use my hands all day long, so it feels nice. Is cracking your knuckles bad for you? I feel like they did that on Mythbusters. I know. Oh, well, the first link is Fox News, so... Is that what them liberals are telling you? Well, I mean, like I said, I do it because my hands... I have undiagnosed mom injury these days. Should I find that video? Yes. Because of my excessive computer usage for work, my full-time job I do from home, and also taking care of Sydney at the same time. It's better today, but there for a few days, it hurt. And I bought a wrist and hand brace, but I lost it, of course. So I was like... My undiagnosed mom injury is flaring up. My undiagnosed mom injury is flaring up. My undiagnosed mom injury is flaring up. That's funny. We don't want to get sued. It's so funny because Sarah... I didn't say it. I went to pick Sydney up, and she's a little resistant to being picked up right now, as we talked about earlier. Also heavy as shit. And she's getting really heavy. And it hurt so bad, and I slipped. I said ouch in like a very painful way, and Luke's like, what happened? It's like, my hand, it really hurts some days. So I crack my knuckles a lot because I feel like it relieves the pressure. I don't know if it does. Are you finding anything about this?
Oh, I forgot about this. I read about this guy. He did a experiment that lasted, I think he said decades. He cracked one side of his body, but not the other side.
Oh my
God.
God.
He would crack the fingers on his right hand, but not his left hand.
How did he not do both?
Because he's a fucking scientist and they're goddamn superheroes.
Like, that's...
One devoted researcher, a man who habitually cracked joints in his left hand, actually studied himself. After roughly 6 decades of he spent 60 years not popping one side
I couldn't do
of
that.
lopsided joint popping. This case study of one showed no increase in the presence of arthritis in his left hand as opposed to his right.
Busted.
Finger cracking is so common, you would expect to see a lot of casual reports if it was harmful. But you don't. So I think it's unlikely cracking joints in hands leads to arthritis.
That's awesome. Well, we just dispelled that myth.
Well, we didn't. This researcher spent 60 years doing it, so I don't want to take the credit.
Right. We shared the information. That's what I meant. So if our friend who shared that thing they thought was bad for them, it's not bad for you. Don't feel bad. Take that guilt away.
Crack that shit.
Should I say who it is?
Are they a listener?
I don't know. They might be. It's your old boss from when you worked at Family Video.
Oh,
Jessica.
Hello, Jessica.
Yeah. Don't feel bad. You have enough things in life to worry about. Don't worry about that anymore, honey, because you good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, while we worked at Family Video, snacking was like a friggin' religion. We didn't get lunch breaks.
Right.
So...
Yeah, but think of how skinny you were because you were on your feet all the time.
Constantly moving, and I was never able to eat.
Right.
Because their policy was like, oh, there's going to be a lull in customers. You can eat then. And I'm like,
no.
Can we get a fucking union?
Yeah, that was bad.
Don't get me wrong. Like,
that was right next door to where you guys worked.
Little Caesars. If I may quote the Kevin Smith in Clerks, it's quoting Randall, the character from Clerks. This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
Very true.
That was Family Video.
There were some nice ones.
Oh, there were some customers that were so nice. And if all the customers were like that, you'd be like, oh my God, this is the best job ever. But then you got the people that come in with like straight billed hats and grills and wife beaters. And you can tell that like they just got done smoking meth. And they come up with like 5 games. And you're like, this person's going to be mad. And then you open their account and you're like, yep, I was correct. Yeah, it shows on your account that you owe us like $350 in unreturned merchandise.
Goodness.
And they're like, no, I returned that. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to talk to the manager. Anyway, those people were great. And they'd always come in like 10 minutes before closing.
Excuse me.
I don't want to tug at that thread.
Okay. So that was our list of things that people say are bad for you, but you should totally still do anyway.
Well,
do you. Live your life.
No, I just thought of like complaining about work after you get out of work. Like I do it as sort of a release, but I try not to do it too much because it's exhausting.
Right. And that can be, there's a fine line.
But sometimes you just got to let it out. But then I used to work with a guy at a stressful job, and we both started at the same time, and he was kind of like, he's like, it sucks when I'm here, but he's like, I can go home and just not think about it. And I was just like, how do you do that? Like, he could completely, like, disassemble his work life and his personal life. And not, like, if he has a stressful day where, like, somebody's shitty to him at work and all this stuff, he doesn't think about it one bit after he leaves work. And I'm just like, how do you do that?
I think part of your problem with this specific job is your commute's so short, you don't have that decompressed time like you used to. Because I think it's definitely different, and but you can learn how to do it. I will give myself a little pat on the back. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah.
Even though I work from home, so I'm
talking about the teaching job.
Oh, well, still, your commute was really short for that.
That commute was even shorter.
Like, so, I mean,
it was so short that I would come home on my lunch break and watch Top Gear.
Yeah. I mean, you have to teach yourself how to do it, and I still struggle with it some days, but like I've been doing what I'm doing right now for almost going on 6 years in August, so the problems and stressors I have are nothing new most of the time. It's a little bit different because of my environment that I work from, and the team I work with in Boston is new. But I've been doing it for so long that I'm like, there's no reason to stress yourself out overly about this because you've dealt with this for 6 years. So it's a learned skill, that's for sure. But I hope those of you who do these things on our list, don't beat yourself up about them.
I hope you hear it and go, I do that.
Right.
I do that too.
And
awesome.
Who fucking cares? They can go fuck themselves, right?
Who are the they?
Who are the they anyway? I mean, some of them are probably scientists with years of research, but you're still alive.
I'm also.
These things haven't killed you yet.
Let me hop back onto my soapbox for a minute too. A lot of these myths and stuff that you know about were created by advertisers to get you to buy things, and there's a lot of like common misconceptions about things that you should or shouldn't do. That if you look at them and go like, who's going to profit off of this? Like that's some of the stuff we learned about in school, in college. I work in a part of my job is advertising. And a lot of that stuff, the bad habits, is shit that people just made up just to sell items and to get you to buy stuff. Oh, and the customer's not always right. That was made up. That was an ad campaign.
Oh, yeah. That was the worst one in the history of the world.
Says the person with $350 in stolen games.
Right. So, anyway, let's wrap this up. If you have a question for us, you can always find us online. He Said, She Said podcast on Facebook. He Said, She Said PC on Instagram, or email us at he said, she said PC@gmail.com. If you have a story about making friends as a parent, share it with us. I'm going to use the old Facebook, I think, in the next week, because I think that would be a fun thing to start the conversation.
There will be some more user-generated content.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to engage.
It is, and it's good for Sarah.
And then you can hear your stuff online.
Interact with people enough these days.
And you'd be like, oh my God, they talked about my thing. I'm totally famous.
Yeah. I do want to thank everyone who contributed to the old Facebook post. I couldn't remember. My brain stopped working. I said, don't worry, I won't use your names. The only person who was like, you can use my name, I'm going to give her a shout out. Hi, Heather Chandler Rostamagi. I can't let the Chandler go. Like, you're always going to be Heather Chandler Rostamagi, because I always call you Heather Chandler initially to Luke, since his sister's name is also Heather, so I have to specify. I go, Heather Chandler Rostamagi every single time. So, thanks for contributing. I think that's the end. That was creepy.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think we're done here. Tune in next week for another edition of Hearing Both Sides of the Story.
Have a nice week.
Bye.